Alrighty, so I wanted to show you guys, hold on, as I adjust this, you could probably see me adjusting it. I wanted to show you guys this playlist I made. It has 9 songs, it's 40 minutes. I think I'm just gonna kind of skim through it quick. But this is a playlist I have on Spotify. And you could check out my Spotify. Oops. Hold on. I think you can check out my Spotify. This is my Spotify. I forgot who this person is. Where did I meet her? I forget. Anyway, check out this playlist I made. It's called Desolate. It is a modern metal playlist. It says a gateway to modern metal. Dark, immersive, and fraying at the edges. I think that was some AI copy. Anyway, there's these 9 songs on it. I wanted to skim through it because this is really like a playlist that you would play for someone if you were to hang out with them and they were like into other types of genres and music, and this would be something that you would show them, right? Something to like introduce them to modern metal, right? So you would start here. Let me get this. So it starts off really smooth, right? Really chill, like a pop listener, a hip hop listener, an alternative music listener could stomach this intro really, really well. You know what I mean? Anyone could stomach this intro. Your grandma, you know what I mean? Like your mom that listens to I don't know, 90s pop or whatever, like ABBA I don't think that's 90s. It might be. I don't know. But this is a very smooth intro for it's very accessible for all types of music listeners, right? Maybe the Weekend vibes.
I made another mistake, thought I could change, thought I could make it out. Promise.
A very, very soft, gentle, satisfying vocal, right away.
Need to hear you say you're gonna keep it now. I miss the way you say my name, the way you bend, the way you break. Your makeup running down your face, the way you touch, the way you taste. When the curtains call the time, will we both go home alive? It wasn't hard to realize love's the death of peace of mind. You're in the walls that I made with crosses and frames. The time, will we both go home alive?
So it takes a while to build up, right? And you slowly get into it. You start to hear the chugging of the electronic or the electric guitar, that really dark tone, that really low tuned guitar. You hear the acoustic drums come in,
It wasn't hard to realize love's the death of peace of mind. When the curtains call the time, will we both be
So it's starting to pick up, right?
satisfied? It wasn't hard to realize love's the death of peace of mind.
Starts to get big there. The drums open up quite a bit, so. And then it goes into this big dropout, another super accessible part or piece of music for any type of music listener.
You come
And this sounds like The Weeknd right here.
and go and when
I mean Post Malone, that's what I meant.
leaving me in your way.
And this is really the first taste of metal in this playlist is this breakdown, and I think this is a very, very solid representation of modern metal. This breakdown specifically from this song, just it's slow paced, it's heavy, it's grimy, and you get some of that scream, but like prefacing with showing this playlist to someone that doesn't listen to metal, that it is a metal playlist, they should be expecting something like that. And so this is the first taste you give them of modern metal, this breakdown, right? And it's a very tasteful breakdown. It's insane.
On and going west, swallowing everything.
Right? Not a lot of like screaming right away. It's very slow pace, no double kick. Just a slow chug, like jun 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 jun. So it's very like digestible for like a first time metal listener. You know what I mean?
Are you satisfied? Lost again the pace of mine. When the curtains call the time, will we both go home alive? It wasn't hard to realize.
Right? And then you reinforce it with that really catchy chorus. You get that open hi-hats, that distorted cymbal, the chugs going in.
Love's the death of peace of mind. When the curtains call the time, will we both be satisfied? It wasn't hard to realize. Love's the death of peace of mind.
You hit them with that big open rock sounding vocal, the faster drum fill, the speedier drums. It's like it's such a bite size, like it's a bunch of like bite size pieces of metal, you know what I mean? In this song. And it's a very easy pace. It's a very comprehensible. You can definitely wrap your head around this type of metal song. As far as the pace go, the tone is spot on though for that dark kind of metal sound, and it's also very modern. So
Love's the death of peace of
I might title this video like play this playlist for your non-metalhead friends or something like that, Also, notice the distinction, or notice something distinct in this song. There's like that siren sound, especially in that breakdown. It's like a horn, or like a like a tornado horn siren thing. But anyway, and then this song, the outro transitions into the next song. I think tonality wise, tone wise, this song and this song match up really, really well. Just listen to the feel, that chug and that siren kind of sound and that slow pace. Like, listen how it transitions into the next song. And it's supposed to be like listened from top to bottom, not shuffled. This playlist, it's a concept playlist. So you would listen to it from top to bottom. Each song is supposed to flow into the next like an album. So that's very digestible, Picks up, starts quiet. So now it's like the second song is like, all right, we gave you a taste and bits and pieces of what metal is in the first song. And with the second song, we're starting you off on the right foot. You know what I mean? Like it's a hard, straightforward beat. You have the chugs that you were already sort of experienced in the first song, but now it's a little bit upbeat. Like now we're picking up the pace a bit. Now we're starting off like on a strong foot. You know what I mean? Um, just giving him that drive. You know.
I do my best, but everything seems ominous.
And then we're taking the non-metalhead listener back to a place of familiarity, like a more chill sound or just a more calm sound to not overwhelm them with like screams right away and more metal right away. We're taking it to like almost like a pop sounding verse, you know, with pop sounding vocals, like really clean vocals, very gentle vocals, smooth vocals.
Not feeling blessed, quite the opposite. This shouldn't feel so monotonous.
And this song right here, like screams, like so to speak, it screams like catchiness, radio friendly, something that you would listen to on repeat, right? Just the the structure of the song is a structure that is very like pop music oriented, like it's very radio friendly. So they're getting a taste of metal in like the radio friendly format. You know what I mean?
It never rains, but it pours. We're just a bunch of fucking animals, but we're afraid of the outcome.
Very comprehensible beat back there. Very catchy chorus. Got right into the chorus from the verse. Not even any pre-chorus. There's no pre-chorus. It's just verse straight into the pre-chorus or straight into the chorus. So it's super straightforward. Very catchy. Has all the metal elements that you need. You know, but it's very digestible. It's a very like basically formatted song, metal song that any non-metal listener would be like, "Oh, I like this song. This is catchy. This is straightforward." But it also gives you that real modern metal tone, like the first song did, right?
Don't cry to me, because the fiction that we're living in says I should pull the pin.
And right back into the metal, reminding us like, okay, this is a metal song. Remember, the true nature of this song is not some catchy radio rock song, but we're back into the metal. We this is heavy. Metal is heavy, you know.
Should I just pull the pin? We're just a... Don't cry to me, because the fiction that we're living in says...
And notice in this next part coming up, it has those same types of sirens and horns as the first song, "The Death of Peace of Mind." It has the same like sounds, the same samples, the same like instrument sounding sounds. So it's kind of interesting. And then also we're not straying away from breakdowns. We like breakdowns. This is metal. This is what metal's supposed to be, is breakdowns. So we're getting a breakdown out of the song, and we're getting a very straightforward, digestible, but genuinely heavy breakdown, you know. Not no complex patterns, nothing too much that overwhelms like a normal music listener, just something very straightforward, heavy tonality, something very aggressive, you know, something very heavy.
Pull the pin.
And a good breakdown. I mean a good build up. This type of build up is a very like elemental, very elementary style build up, you know. It's textbook buildup, and who better than architects to create a buildup for a breakdown, like, you know. And it's as simple as it gets. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's just quarter notes. It's as simple as it gets. It's as digestible as it gets. Just with a dark, like a metal tonality within it overall.
Buried under the diamond in the mud. Infinity is waiting there, 'cause nobody can burn a glass cathedral. Dream within a dream within a. We're just a bunch of fucking animals.
Give them that chorus again, remind them that, like, this is good music, this is catchy, this is repeatable, replayable.
Pull the pin. Should I just pull the pin?
So with the first and second song now, we don't have like any kick drum. There's barely any kick drum. But this third song, we're introducing kick drum. We're also introducing not like scream vocals, because we had some of that with the breakdown of Death of Peace of Mind. We had like virtually zero screams from Sam Carter here in Animals. And so we're kind of like spacing out the screams a little bit. We're going to introduce like the double kick and a bit more screaming here, and a genuinely like a bit more of a complex breakdown with this third song, In the Name of the Father by President. So we're keeping that wide rhythm going into that wide sound going into In the Name of the Father with this intro. It's still a very dark tone. You can hear it in the notes and the chords that they're choosing in this intro. Whatever instrument this is that they're using, it sounds like a modified piano. And we're gonna hit them with like a big metal riff, right? This is like a big, wide, aggressive, dark metal riff out of the gates, right? Very ominous sound as metal is, very dark sound as metal is. Giving them that clean scream, just like like no lyric really, just the scream itself, like a plain old scream, because that's the sound of metal. A little bit of double kick in there. And then giving some pop elements to all of the normal music listeners, right? Reminding them that, metal isn't all, well, some metal, a lot of metal isn't just all like harsh, aggressive, like it is it is a bit more diverse than that. It's a bit more there's a bit more variety in some metal music, like this playlist, especially like these first three songs, like some of these other songs, there's a lot more variety, right? So and this is a very pleasant sound to probably like a pop listener, you know.
We all choose to find hope, because hope is choosing to find meaning in a meaningless world.
Giving him that big distorted yell, that scream vocal, showing them how like powerful metal is, you know, vocally, emotionally. And that right there is like the second instance in which lyrics are screamed, you know, the vocals are very harsh, you know. I think in the breakdown of the death of peace of mind, that was when we got our first taste of like screamed lyrics. And then this is our second instance. That was our second instance of screamed lyrics for the playlist, you know. So showing them introducing that element a little bit more, like we scream the words, you know, sometimes, a lot of the times. Going back to a very satisfying, pleasant sounding, pop sounding second verse, or like verse sound. And then we're going to kick in with some drums, get into some more double kick, get into that extremely wide, aggressive, like powerful, you know, sound, that chorus sound that a lot of metal can bring, a lot of metalcore, a lot of things like that, a lot of metal vocalists bring. And then 3 songs in, third breakdown, you know, 3 for 3, a breakdown for every song, you know, because this is a modern metal playlist. So we're going to get a good build up. It's a very modern style build up, metal build up into the most complex breakdown we've gotten so far. So we're like building and building and building. This is the third song and so far, and this is the most complex breakdown there is so far, right? We're just building and building. Keeping that very dark tone that metal always has. This fourth one, this is when we introduce heaviness, complexity, real aggression. Hold on, let's go back. Staying light, ending light, starting light, you know? So instrumentally, we ended heavy with that outro breakdown, right? And then you got the vocal outro, started light, went right back into heavy instrumentals coming off of the heavy outro of In the Name of the Father, going into a heavy instrumental intro with False Meridian by Invent Animate.
Take me back to where I started before you spilled.
So this is going to be a lot. This is going to be a lot for a non-metal listener, but we introduced all the elements that this part has right here that we're listening to. We introduced all of those elements in different ways amongst the first three songs. So now we're combining all of it and getting even faster pace and turning up the dial of aggression, you know. Giving them a little bit of gentleness before we get into the chorus.
And my heart is staying. Could they push me through this pain?
Giving them a very young voice. A lot of what modern metal is like these young men, and there's a very powerful, passionate, emotional young man lead vocalist here, which represents a lot of modern metal bands, like that style of vocal, you know, very, very loud projection, young man, aggressive, you know. Giving him the different looks of how, you know, the beat changes right there, showing a non-metal listener that, you know, metal music is can be unpredictable, you know.
Don't feel the same in disarray. Can you find myself in me? Why did I wake up?
Staying heavy. Gonna get heavier. This is our first instance of like double kick, just driving like constantly for a good period of time. this is our first case of fast metalcore kick drums, you know. Giving them that ambience, you know, that metalcore ambience. Giving them just a clean and basically perfect example of metalcore kick drums, metalcore breakdown, like those complex, fast, broken, abstract patterns that a lot of modern metal has. Hopefully they've survived to this point, because this point is a big release of, you know, pressure and build up. And this is a very aggressive but very relieving opening, you know, of metal music. Giving them a very clean and gentle release back into the ocean, you know. But this next song starts off very, very chill as well. So we're gonna go from this gentle outro into a very gentle intro for this next song. Right? Just a super simple pop sounding beat, super calm, just like the outro that we just listened to, going right into it, starting off very gently, very accessible.
I can't stop from spinning round the rabbit hole. The deeper that you push, the deeper I will go. They said the gods are woman, I'll worship you the same. 'Cause all I do is think about saying your name in vain.
That same siren that you hear in Death of Peace of Mind and Animals is in God as a Weapon, by Falling in a Verse here. With God as a Weapon, keeping the very dark tonality, the slow and grimy like rhythm, but We're going from something super like overstimulating, almost like overwhelming, to like a nice breather with how slow paced and open God is a weapon, with God, how God is a weapon is. So and just keeping like familiar voices from the modern metal scene in, in rotation, like Bad Omens, with Noah. You're gonna hear his voice in modern metal. Bad Omens is really big nowadays. Same with Architects. President's brand new. Invent Animate has been around for a little bit. But then like a voice like Ronnie's, like you're gonna hear Ronnie's voice when you talk about modern metal. Falling Universe is just gonna be brought up. Same with Bad Omens. Same with Architects. Um, and then you have a metal kind of legend. Like, would you call Marilyn Manson metal? I don't know. But you have like a legend in the space, Marilyn Manson. For anyone that's heard of like The Beautiful People or something like that, they might recognize this voice and be like, oh, they've definitely heard of the name. So just putting a sound to a name.
I can't stop from sinning. My halo's just a hole. Deeper that I get inside you, the deeper you will fall. Say that God's a weapon, well I'm a hand grenade.
Any John Wick fans, whether they listen to metal or not, they're gonna like this song because this is a very like John Wick type song. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Marilyn Manson has had songs in the John Wick movies. So if someone's a fan of John Wick, there's a decent chance that they could be a fan of this song specifically. So that's another intro to metal that, a group of people might have here.
Try to take this ring from me, watch me detonate.
Notice the kick drum in the first half of this breakdown is very like single kick drums, very simple metal rhythm here. And then the second half of this breakdown, we start getting double kicks. So this whole playlist is about building up, starting very quietly, starting very simply, and gently, and building it up into something more metal or more aggressive or more powerful. It's about that. It's about the gradual buildup. Great songs that do that really well. Just the song themselves. Death of Peace of Mind is a great song because the intro is so simple. It goes into a very comprehensible middle part of the song, and by the end of the song, they hit the breakdown. They have a big open chorus by the end of the song. Same thing with God as a Weapon. They start out very, very quietly. They get into that good, steady, hard rock, metal kind of chorus, keep the pace up, and then they're just gradually building up into breakdowns and then big outros. Same with Take Me Back to Eden. I've had these three separated like that. The top of the playlist, the middle of the playlist, and the bottom of the playlist, to separate those types of songs too. But again, with this song right now, we're getting another breakdown. We haven't had a song without a breakdown yet. This is modern metal, so we keep the heaviness in there. We keep the breakdowns in there because this is modern metal. That's like a defining part of this genre of metal, is like breakdowns, heavy riffs, things like that. very digestible, wrap your head around kind of double kick riff, you know? This isn't too heavy of like a metal riff right now with these double kicks. It's not like too complex. Like a lot of this stuff in False Meridian, especially at the end, it was very fast, very, very fast double kick patterns. This one is a very like simple double kick pattern, you know? And there's not a lot of screaming going on at all. There's like no screaming going on at all, basically. So it's a little easier for like a non-metal listener to listen to this song too, which gives them a little break, a little breather from the last song, False Meridian, that was like super heavy and very fast paced. This one's like a lot more like pop oriented or like grunge oriented. It's a lot more digestible.
My sinful confession, you're my answer. So if God is a woman, then God is a
Okay, I want you to notice something with how that ended, right? With how big that ended, with how this next song is going to kick in when the instruments kick in. Also, keep in mind the pace of like the double kick part and the breakdown of God as a Weapon. It very much matches the same sort of pace of double kick drum in Circle With Me as well. Like they sound like they're the same like speed of double kicks, you know, and the same kind of like openings and patterns and like you have the pauses and like the spaces between the kick drums in the riffs, like the riffs are the same pace.
God damn the altar!
Yeah, giving him that, you know, solid metalcore kind of like pace, that rhythm that we got a bit out of the breakdown of God as a Weapon, introing with a scream lyric, you know, screamed lyrics. Yeah.
Visionary and deepest fake, dirty go.
Also, a female vocal, you know, showing that in metal, in modern metal, there's female vocalists, you know, it's not all like aggressive sounding male vocals, but you also have female vocals in this genre. Even though you would think that it'd be predominantly male, and it is, you still do have like female vocalists in here. Like you have Spirit Box, you have Poppy, you have other artists like, I don't even know really, other female vocal led artists. I know like, you know, Evanescence, like Amy Lee and stuff like that, but like
Colors change, hands are frozen, feel no pain. I just wanna hold the flame, negative feedback loop, I'm spinning out of control.
I also took the time to kind of like separate these radio rock songs. Not that Death of Peace of Mind isn't a radio rock song, because it definitely is. Animals is much more so a radio rock song or a radio metal song, however you want to call it. And so is Circle With Me. I think Animals and Circle With Me, and then maybe The Death of Peace of Mind are, but more so like the structure of Animals and Circle With Me are very much like radio friendly. So I had to separate them a little bit to kind of keep that kind of like catchy radio rock energy scattered throughout the playlist evenly, so it's not like too catchy all the time. It's like the catchiness is there when you need it to be in the playlist as you make your way. So
The sickly sweetness is crushing me, but I wanna know if there's no heat when I escalate. The fire is cold, there I go. This could all be yours. Feel the weight of the motor. It could all be yours if you had the words of play. Try to cut down the altar. It could all
you have that big open rock chorus.
be yours. Vulture circling the flame.
Back into a metalcore riff. We always go back into that metalcore riff. That is like the DNA of this playlist. The DNA of modern metal, like these ambient, dark sounding metalcore double kick riffs, these big kind of like stadium sounding, arena sounding metal riffs.
Nothing sacred, nothing lost. When birds of prey invade my thoughts, they promise I won't feel the pain. Not strong enough to hold the flame. Negative feedback loop, I'm spinning out of control. This sickly sweetness is crushing me, but I wanna know if there's no heat when I escalate. The fire is cold, there I go. This could all be yours. Feel the weight of a motor. It could all be yours if you had the words of play. Try to cut down the altar. It could all be yours. Vulture circling the flame.
Breakdown, always breakdown.
I am the power of a dying sun. I climb the altar and I climb my price as good. So go with me.
That's a very like statement style, traditional breakdown call out type, vocal part there. And I'm gonna reinforce it with Remember Me, because we're gonna see like a female vocal heavy and then like a male vocal heavy. We get a bit weightier with Remember Me compared to Circle With Me.
This could all be yours. Feel the weight of a motor. It could all be yours if you had the words of play. Try to cut down the altar. It could all be yours. Vulture circling the flame. Feel the weight of the motor. A traitor watching me as birds of prey never falter. This could all be yours. This could all be yours.
And then we're just gonna get another wall of sound, but the wall is gonna be wider, it's gonna be taller, it's gonna be thicker right here. screams yet.
Damage has been done. We carry the weight of selfless scars. We silently crave upon our past.
And then we get the screams.
We place our pain. One quadrant for the council. To our ball to break. Cut the veil, not but the streets of birds and snakes. So when you take a look deep inside yourself, it swells and it stings. Like a chemical reaction, burning your brain. It lies the way to our regrets. Sharpen the knives and cuts through with deepest strains of hate. Show me the love you've always wanted. All the love is gone. Driven apart by what we all have seen. We're falling over ourselves. How do we mourn what's lost? What never will be. Remember me, as you love me. Carry the weight of selfless scars. We silence.
I think you can see from, so this goes like, there's like several build-ups here. There's like, this is we start easy. This is we pick up the pace a bit. This is we introduce double kick breakdowns, outro at the end, more screams. And this is like super, super heavy, very aggressive. Then we drop way back down again. We do another drop off to a very, very simple intro like Death of Peace of Mind. We build up to the ending of the song is very big and climactic. Then we get into, from that pace that we leave off kind of at the end of God as a Weapon, we get right into with Circle With Me and get a bit heavier of a breakdown in Circle With Me. And then we start with a very massive sound with Remember Me Too. And we're getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And then Under the Knife is going to like relieve some of that pressure again. It kind of like transitions into a calm intro that we have with Take Me Back to Eden. But let's just continue.
Show me your hands and touch the stars with me.
So this is a very dark sound, Remember Me, right? And it's going to pick up, it's going to go on a lighter note with Under the Knife. So because we don't want to overwhelm the non-metal listener with so much darkness, you know?
You never just on one path, one road to travel, it seems. Our story is infinite, and we've just been pulling at the strings. Another never will be. We have exercised the will of parasites. We're not robots of innocence.
Easy outro, gentle release from the end of the song with this end of the song. And then we're going to go into a somewhat light intro for the next song. Give it a bit more of a like upbeat kind of poppier feel. Get a bit groovy, you know, pick up the pace a little bit, lighten up the mood a little bit.
tried, I'm lost tonight. Even though I'm speechless.
Give him that Deftones, energy a little bit.
Can we celebrate around tonight?
I think Thornhill touches a lot of relevant sort of sounds that's going around in the modern metal industry as is right now. It's a very industrial sounding. I think of a lot of metal bands right now, modern metal bands have that sort of, vibe. So I thought this was a good one to throw in there. It's also like catchy enough, it's uplifting enough, but it's still metal, but like it lightens the mood a little bit, at least enough. Super soft outro. Ambient. Think like the 1975, right? The band from the UK. Super peaceful, very ambient. And we're gonna start the next song with that same vibe. And to anyone that has listened to this song, this is probably the most dynamic, like, progressive song there is. In comparison to, like, The Death of Peace of Mind, God as a Weapon, Take Me Back to Eden is the most dynamic.
I dream in phosphorescence.
And I figured, obviously, Sleep Token's gonna be a great one to include right now, like, in modern metal, and showing the versatility of modern metal. This song, by this band specifically, does a great job at showing that versatility in modern metal music.
Through spaces, we dive through crystal words and seas. My, those eyes like fire. I'm a winged insect. You're a funeral pyre. Come now, by your shot.
Starting off, so musically, we're just showing them the mastery, like the non-metal listener, we're showing them the mastery of metal artists, the art of metal music. And this is like the one of the greatest and the last example on this playlist, but one of the greatest examples in modern metal music of that art mastery, you know.
His teeth, you know my desire. All will travel far beyond the path of reason. Take me
And giving them real metal guitars and drums as this kicks in.
back to Eden. Take me back to Eden.
Gives me that same kind of wall of sound feeling that Remember Me gives with their first main riff right there. And then also False Meridian with like this ambience vibe that Invent Animate is really good at. Sleep Token does that same sort of thing here. Big drop offs, very dynamic. And then getting into versatility here with this next part.
Well, yeah, I spit blood when I wake up. Sink porcelain stain, choking up brain matter and makeup. Just 2 days since the mainframe went down and I'm still messed up. Room feels like a meat freezer, I dangling like cold cuts. Missed calls, answer phones from people I just don't.
You're getting like a similar instrumental as like the intro of God is a Weapon. You know, you're getting sort of like the same electronic elements in the verse as like In the Name of the Father, and like the Death of Peace of Mind. You're getting a lot of those electronic elements that you get in those songs, and you're getting it in this song as well, because that's a consistent, you know, element in modern metal is those electronic elements inspired by a lot of modern pop music, a lot of modern hip hop music, you know, and that's just a sign of the times, you know. This section here in this song that we're listening to is like, it tells you like when this song was made. You know what I mean?
Nerd talk, fake love, but I'll take a pound of your flesh before you take a piece of my paste up. White roses, black doves, godmother, rise up.
Being very poetic, you know, as a lot of modern metal is.
Need you to see me for what I have become. My mind, those eyes like fire. I'm a winged insect, you're a funeral pyre. Come now, bite through these wires. I'm a waking hell and the gods grow tired. Reset my patient violence along both lines of a pathway higher. Grow back your sharpest teeth, you know my desire.
And this song is all about, you know, the art, you know, the composition, the musical composure, right? Versatility, dynamics, you know, dramatics in a way, right? So you're getting that piano in the middle of the song after, you know, about a third of the way through the song, you got this massive wall of sound from these metal guitars and metal drums. You're getting piano somewhat afterwards, which is very versatile. It's very dynamic, right? It shows the artistry of modern metal artists. its teeth in me, but I'm about to bite down in anger. That's a little bit of foreshadowing for this outro. We get some real anger in this outro, some real metal in this outro, which is great because this is a modern metal playlist, so we want those modern metal sounds out of these songs. And this is going to be such an interesting song to show a non-metal listener because it has so many elements, like pop elements, almost like these R&B elements. It has like jazz elements, but then it has those real modern metal elements, like the massive riff at the beginning there, and this outro coming up.
And I don't know what's got its teeth in me, but I'm about to bite back in anger. No amount of those eyes like fire.
And then we're going to end on a high note. We're going to end on a high note in regards to metal. We're going to end on a high note. And you're getting a level of heaviness that's found in only like False Meridian by Invent Animate, maybe some Currents in there, but that was like probably the harshest metal vocals in the entire playlist. So hopefully, the whole first 8 songs, all of the first 8 songs prepared the non-metal listener for those vocals, because this was the climax. So yeah, that is an intro to modern metal for a non-metal listener. If you know anyone that doesn't listen to metal but appreciates music, this would be a great playlist to have them listen to as an intro to modern metal, and these types of modern metal bands. So yeah, 9 songs, 40 minutes and 44 seconds listening to the playlist all the way through, front to back, top to bottom, nonstop. So yeah, definitely show this to someone that you think would be open-minded enough to, maybe take on modern metal music. Um, but yeah, that's this playlist that I kind of put together, and yeah, I'll probably I'll have a I'll have a playlist made on YouTube as well. Probably in the link of the description to this reaction video, um, that you can go to if you want this exact playlist, or just go to Spotify. I can have a link to both of them too if you use YouTube, if you want to use YouTube, or if you mainly use Spotify. So yeah, just something I put together so that, you know, I can put my non-metal listening friends onto metal, and give them giving them a modern look at metal music. So anyway, I appreciate you guys for listening, and I hope you can share this playlist with one of your non-metal listening friends and really put them onto metal. It's a whole nother side of music that I think a lot of people can overlook, or um, kind of just like brush off their shoulder or something. But yeah, give this playlist to a friend of yours that you think they might be interested in. So anyway, like and subscribe. Just wanted to share this with you. Peace out.